All right, so record only.
Welcome to the Body Talks podcast with me, Dr. Brook. I'm a chiropractor extraordinaire who speaks the language of the body, not to be confused with body language. Join me on this show as I disrupt current beliefs about where health comes from and how you can discover your greatest health potential without having to spend hours away from your life's work in order to do so. Because reaching these levels of health is possible once you learn how to carry on a dialogue with the greatest creation to ever exist, the human body. By tuning into the whispers your body speaks and addressing them, you avoid the potential damage that is created when the body begins to scream, allowing you to experience healing in a whole new way. This show will guide you towards true health so you can continue to change the world. Your body holds the answers. I'm here to help you discover them on the Body Talks podcast, starting now.
Welcome, everybody. I am so excited for another episode of the Body Talks podcast. You are in for a treat. I'm really excited about this one. I am going to be talking with a dear friend, Susan Axelrod, the confidence coach. Susan, why did you want to be on the Body Talks podcast?
Hi, Dr. Brook. Thank you so much. I'll tell you why I wanted to be here. When I heard you talk about the body's whispers, it was like this thing that went all the way through my body. And I got a big fat yes. Honestly, for so long in my skin, in my body, I don't think that I did listen to the body whispering. I listened to the mind shouting.
That is such a good point. The mind is the one shouting.
Right.
Wow.
Right. And
That's
what
amazing.
was happening was the mind was shouting, your thighs have cellulite, your stomach is big, and, this and that. The mind was shouting all these things. And also the mind was shouting, you don't work out. Your husband is the one who works out. You're not an athlete. Your daughter is a track athlete. You sit on the couch and eat cookies, and they go out and do things. And all of these thoughts and ideas were in my head for many years, as well as the shouting of, I'm too busy to work out. Are you kidding me on this? And that really led to, after the pregnancies, I guess I was always, God gave me a good package. Thank you, Mom, Dad, and God for my genes and blessings. I got a pretty good package, and I'm 5'6". I'm a, tall person. So I always held it well. But as you very well know, it doesn't matter what other people see. It's how you feel in your skin. So I always felt like I really had 25 to 35 pounds to lose. And I'm talking normal. I'm not talking to be a skinny mini, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not talking
weight.
Yeah, a healthy weight. And so at some point, and I'm happy to share it with you, I changed my mind to change my body. And so that's really why I'm so happy that you do what you do to help people tune in and listen to their bodies. And there's so much to gain from it.
Okay, Susan. So first off, yes, I would love for you to share the transition, or what the catalyst was for you in your life to shift, right? To make that mental shift. I absolutely love what you said right there about it actually is. And I never even really considered it to be that way, but it is the mind that's screaming. It is the mind that's looking at all of the magazines, all of the women, all of these beautiful airbrushed things, and that we feel like we could never be. Or, you use the example of your daughter, the athlete. Well, I'm not an athlete, she's better than me. You start feeling like your self-worth starts depleting. with all of these external things that are entering our mind through our eyes, through the things that we hear, and we allow it to process and almost like put a piece of shade or, a cloud over what is really going on and learning to really love the skin we're in. So, yes, I would love you to share with the audience, with those of you who are listening, on what that took to shift that mindset, because I feel like a lot of people struggle in consciously being aware that they are thinking horrible thoughts, because to them that is their normal. It is their normal to pick up a cosmopolitan magazine and see the girl, with no cellulite on their legs and go, gosh, I'm starving myself. I'm working out 20 hours a day. I don't sleep. I don't have time for this. And I don't look like that. Like,
Right.
what's wrong with me?
Right. Somewhere along the way, I saw that video, which I think might be a wonderful video. We can find it for you to share. It's a video of the difference between the picture of the real person before the airbrushing in a magazine and the same picture after.
Yeah.
This was such an impressive impact on my mind. I was stunned. I'm not like an idiot, Dr. Brook. I mean, I get it. I had heard of airbrushing and I know and
Yeah.
all of that, I get it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, in our mindlessness,
Yeah.
in our worry and anxiety and in our comparison and the patriarchal imposition of comparing ourselves to each other, and here's what you should look like in the field of beauty and all of that, we go into a mindless state, which is what allows those thoughts to perseverate and allows you to really not bring consciousness to, is that really what she looks like in the magazine?
Right.
So first
Right.
of all, that somewhere along the way I saw that, and that really took me down a peg. That really stopped me in my tracks. Secondly, I was on anxiety medication for, I think, about 7 years, and I wanted to get off it. And my doctor said, if you want to get off this medication, go to the gym. And remember, I was not a gym rat. I had never been to a gym, really. And I was, very much in resistance to that. But I was motivated, extremely motivated by, in this case, for me, wanting to get off anxiety medication. And so that was a big motivator that became louder than the white noise for me. So I went to a gym. And there's some funny stories about my other daughter, the one who wasn't an athlete, and I on the elliptical, and just being like laughing our asses off about, I couldn't even do a step. I'm not exaggerating. I couldn't even do the coordination. I couldn't do 3 steps on the elliptical. But the truth is, I was highly motivated. And that began to coincide with some mindset shifting for me. That was really what it took. I call this mindset management. I began to work on many areas where I was going to be managing my mind instead of having my mind managing me.
Ooh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. Confidence. I'm the confidence coach. So confidence comes from me being in charge of me. I'm in control. I'm in control. I'm in control. And so there's a lot to the story of my journey, but that resulted in a firm commitment that translated into action of going to the gym just to do whatever I could. I credit my husband with the mantra, anything is better than nothing.
That's true.
Yeah, anything is
very
better.
true.
Yeah, anything is better than nothing. And so over a period of time, I did that. And I began to feel better. And I had already made a decision to stop smoking many years prior, when my doctor at that time said, well, you can keep smoking if you want, but you can't be on the pill also.
Right.
So you can choose. So I
Yep.
chose sex, right?
Yep.
At that time,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So I had been making this move toward getting healthier because I wanted so desperately to feel better and more comfortable in my own skin. So I got to the gym, I got on the elliptical, and I started just doing very slowly, way out of my type A perfection, got to do it all now. That was another piece where I slowly did my journaling. I did a little bit at a time. I did whatever I could that was good enough. And then that's how I started to strengthen my body. Also, another thing I would like to share is that I wasn't trying to get skinny. I wasn't even really trying. I wasn't trying to lose weight. I
Yeah.
did want to lose weight, but I knew I could stop eating a bag of chips or a bag of cookies. I mean, I knew there were other things, right, that I could do. I wanted to be healthier. I wanted to
So
be.
was Sorry to interrupt.
That's
The
okay.
motivator at that time, though, too, in getting to the gym was trying to get off of the medications to be healthier.
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
to be healthier.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
nice point there.
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to be healthier all around. I wanted to not be in anxiety slash depression.
Hmm.
And I wanted not to be on medication because of those things.
Right.
So I was in a mode of, the journey. I call it my journey to enlightenment, where my soul was rising to
Yep.
want to be a healthier self, better, more productive in my work, better at home, more productive in society, etc. And in order to be the most productive, being as healthy as you can be matters. And that comes back to mind management.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for those that are listening that may not be familiar with my work, my 4 facets of health is physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental. You don't get healthy if you have 2 of those legs, standing straight up. You don't get healthy if 3 of those legs are standing. You get healthy when all 4 of them are holding you down as a solid foundation, physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. And Susan is demonstrating today what it looks like by she sounds, from me, for the story, that how I'm hearing it is, she got she got mentally well in order to get physically well, which has translated into spiritually and emotionally being well. And
Oh,
yeah.
damn, Dr. Brook, you don't even know the half of it, because now that you mentioned that, you bring that up. Honestly, my soul, right, spiritual, my soul rose
Hmm.
as these layers. You were trying to find a word. I call them layers.
I love that.
Yeah,
Layers.
the
Love it.
layers, as the
Yes.
layers, I see them as filmy layers,
Yes.
and filmy layer is light, but when there's a lot of them, they still pack down.
Yep.
And
Yep.
there's so many of them. People call them onion layers. I call them, layers. And I was just really just pulling away the layers for my
Yep.
soul, which was covering my soul. That's the
Yep.
spiritual.
Yep.
And so yes, I would say those are 4 pillars were definitely in my foundational work. No question. I was in therapy. I did
Right.
talk therapy. I was experimenting with mindset, understanding, growing in so many different ways, including physically. This all culminated when my older daughter was graduating from college. Um, she told us she was moving home. And my husband and I were sort of thinking, oh, how nice. We had only just empty nested one semester. Now that Rebecca was moving home. And I, again, taking charge of my mind, not being worried about how we would fight, which is what happens when a 21-year-old college graduate moves home.
Yep. Yep.
I took control and I said, what can I do here? What is there something that we can do together, etc. And she was into fitness and she wanted to be a fitness trainer, a personal trainer. And so I asked her, would you help me accomplish a big physical goal? And that goal was running a half marathon. And so I had gotten to that place because of the up and down journey, which is natural. You know, I
Right.
had gotten healthy. I had been off meds. I've never been back on meds since.
Yay!
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Because of the 4 pillars that you're
Right.
talking about.
Right.
And still in all, you know, you go up and down a bit. And I was in a down place, and I create an annual theme for myself. And that theme that came up for me for the following year was strength. And then I asked Rebecca if she would work with me, and she did. I picked a half marathon in October. She moved home in December, and then she started working with me in personal training to get me ready to do the half marathon. And then,
Wow.
yeah, and then there was all that physical, and there was that emotional, can I really
Right.
do it? Breaking
Right.
through those thoughts and all of that. And my sister, actually, the real reason I wanted to be on your show was because of something that my sister says about me. She says, my sister changed her body through her mind.
I love it.
She does.
Oh my
And,
God, I
and guess
love
what?
that.
Shout out to my sister.
Yes.
She's doing that now herself.
Yep. Yeah. That is so beautiful. Such a beautiful display of what that looks like in having the 4 pillars firmly established. And it's not Susan sharing her story. For those of you who don't know my story, episode 1 of the Body Talks podcast, I do share that. But it's a journey, and you're not going to reach a point where it's the end. Susan shared in her story. In her story, she shared that she was struggling with anxiety, she was smoking cigarettes, she was doing all this. There was little moments in time where doctors were saying things to her, and she made certain decisions to do it a different way, because she said, okay, if I logically think about this, I'm already on anxiety medication for 7 years. What is this going to look like? Is this going to further, is this just going to be a lifetime thing? And then with those type of medications, anxiety, depression, all of that, you almost lose a sense of who you are. And so being on those even longer term than 7 years, who would Susan be today? Would the world get to experience the gifts that she is bringing to women and confidence and doing what she is doing, had she not gotten the healing she got and made those micro, tiny decisions to make those little impacts? And so I want you to be encouraged to not be so overwhelmed and think, oh my God, there's 4 big pillars and I don't have anything done, so I'm not going to do anything. Because it really starts, in Susan's case, it started with her mind. In my case, actually, it started with my mind also, but it wasn't me consciously aware of it, more so than surrounding myself with people unintentionally, in this case, that were speaking life into me. It's like I got involved with a chiropractic community here in my hometown, and they were speaking all this life into me. I started to borrow their belief and their confidence in me to have belief and confidence in myself to do what I did, to go to school, to become and get to this point. And so I want you to know that it's micro decisions. It's small, tiny steps. You might be experiencing an overwhelming issue physically, a lot of pain in your body, or feeling sick to your stomach all the time, and you're going to practitioner after practitioner, not getting the answers you're looking for. It's because you are looking for answers outside of you, because you're not coming back to that deeper wisdom of the body. Micro decisions, mindset shifts, making different choices to eat this versus that, to do that versus this. Susan gave us the funny story of her on the elliptical machine and couldn't even coordinate how to move it. Like, how hysterical. But to go to the point now that she's run a half marathon, like, how amazing and incredible. And like, this is a testimony to the fact that you commit yourself to the work, and it will literally, life will unfold for you in the most epic, beautiful, impactful way.
I
And
mean,
it will continue to do so.
honestly, even as you're talking, because I feel energy. So I could feel resistance energy from people who were me at age 37. I mean, honestly, I will tell you, I'm 5'6", like I said, but I topped out at about 160 pounds. I've never told anyone that because you
Mhm.
couldn't tell on me.
Mhm.
But I was at a Jewish community center, a JCC, where
Mhm.
there's a gym. The JCCs have a gym. But I was there. I was actually working there, and my daughter was in daycare there. But there was a gym there, and every day I would go in and suffer from the fact that I could never go to a gym. I didn't know how to go to a gym. I didn't know what you did with the gym. I didn't have
Mhm.
time to go to a gym,
Mhm.
and all of those
And
things.
even maybe the feelings of not feeling worthy to go to a gym. Like that self, we talk ourselves out of it like, "Oh, that's those people.
That's for them.
I
Yes,
don't know." Yeah.
that's very true. And I want to really connect to people, whether who are watching this or listening to this, whether you have it's weight, some kind of weight
Mhm.
concern, some kind of physical other ability concern, an immunosuppressed concern, or whatever. I cannot stress how much these micro steps that you're talking about and these 4 pillars can create relief. That's really what we need in the
Yes.
beginning. It comes through what I call soul connection, loving
Right.
yourself more, and taking those micro steps. That is what began to change things for me, just
Mhm.
one little step at a time. I honestly never ever could have imagined that I could have this body, which is good. It's not like perfect, but
Yeah.
people see me and they think that I'm thin,
Right.
right? I don't think
Right.
of that at all, but they
Right.
say things like that to me. But I
Mhm.
hear healthy, I hear
Yes.
strong. When I went
Yes.
out for a run yesterday,
Yep.
puffing and puffing, I'm picturing what's that muscle on your thigh? What's that muscle on
On
the
the
top
side
of
or the front?
the front?
It's the medical terminology is called the rectus femoris muscle, but it's also known as your quads.
The quads. Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Those are
quads.
4 muscles, but yes.
Okay, those quads, when I started running,
Mhm.
I thought I said to my daughter, I think something's wrong with my legs. They're all swollen. I swear to God, this is true. It's like they're swollen. She said, "Mom, those are muscles." Yeah. That's the truth. That's the truth
Oh,
underneath. So, yeah.
oh, so funny. You're like, "Why is there so much fluid in here? What's going on?"
Right. I love my quads when I run, when I'm in a good
Yeah.
running routine, and
Yeah.
the lengthening of your legs and
Right.
all of that. So really, honestly, my body was whispering to me for a long time. It
Mhm.
must have been
Yeah.
to motivate and move and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And I had to quiet down the mind shouting those, as they call them, negative beliefs or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
I also have done that through journaling, through nature, through meditative states of being, etc.
Dr. Damon or Daniel Amen, I'm not sure if you know who he is.
I know
He's
very well who Dr. Amen is. Very well.
he's incredible. For those of you who may not know who he is, definitely check out his work. But I love he uses the terminology ants, ANTS, like getting the ants out of your head. And those are the automatic negative thoughts. So we all have these little ants running around in our mind telling us whether it's our bodies or about different things in our external world. And when we learn to quiet down, when we quiet down the mind, then we allow the body to start communicating in a way where it will tell us, like, your quads and strengthening and all of that. But, it's one of the things just to kind of throw in the little health piece, because I nerd out on this stuff and I geek out. And for those of you listening, your quads are actually huge, big sugar burners. So, after a big, large meal, we're coming up on Thanksgiving at the time of this recording. People are going to be eating a lot. It might be nice to like go for a walk after you're done eating. Those quad muscles are going to help really get your blood sugar regulated, really kind of bring you back into balance, and just help with the whole like, they talk about the fatigue after you eat a lot and people want to crash out and take a nap after all their turkey, but might be nice just to go for a family stroll.
Yeah,
Healthy for you too.
It's funny you say that because we don't have a tradition of it, but a few Thanksgivings, and my sister-in-law already sent out the text. We have done a 5K, some local 5K, Thanksgiving 5K in
Wow.
the morning. Yeah. So
Nice.
I did run that half marathon, and I
Yeah.
ran most of it. I
Yeah.
walked some of it. I did
Yeah.
complete it. I was so proud of myself. It was extraordinary.
Yay.
It was for my 50th
Yeah.
year.
That's
And
awesome.
and then my daughter, who did not a whit of training, ran it with me, of course. And I've never done another half a marathon, but I do still run today. I do. My intention is to walk a 5K a day.
Mm-hmm.
5K a day. That
Mm-hmm.
may sound like a lot, but it's only 3.1 miles.
Right. I was
And
gonna, yeah.
it's doable. It's
Yeah.
doable over
Yeah.
a day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so beautiful. I love that that is your goal, your daily
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
And I want to say something about that because a lot of times, whatever it is, like we tend to have obsessive habits as human beings. So maybe you get into the gym and then you really start working out and then you're there 3 to 4 hours to 5 hours to 6 hours and you're there all the time. You're obsessing, you're thinking, and the reality is like, well, working out and being at the gym and doing that stuff to help your body be healthy. And I do quotations because people think, oh, well, you go to the gym, you must be healthy. You know how many, and it's a really sad statistic of how many gym rats fall over with just a sudden heart attack, or something happening because they're so bulked out. They've done all this stuff and they look great on the outside, but their whole entire internal operating system is no longer able to function in the same way. The heart is unable to push out blood in the same way that it did, because now that muscle is extra thick and and the blood has very little room to move in there. And so it's not about obsessing about things. And it's like Susan ran her like half marathon, but she then didn't become like an ultra marathon runner. If she did, that's great, but like she didn't obsess about that. She goes, okay, I did it, I checked the goal, I'm really proud of myself. What else can I do in my life to keep this momentum going? I'm going to continue with this 5K walk every day, and I'm
Right.
going to operate other pieces of my life, not just the physical, but the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional, like bringing all the components together, because it isn't about living your life a slave to the kitchen, making meals so you can eat healthy and be well. Absolutely do that. Not at all saying don't do that. But what I'm saying is some people either obsess over it and they do it for like a couple weeks and then they completely go the opposite direction because it's not sustainable. The idea is to make choices in your life, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally, that are sustainable, that are long term. Walking a 5K every day is sustainable for Susan.
It is. It truly is. I know we're almost out of time, but we could talk
We
about
can
this
go a little longer if you
forever.
need.
I want to invoke the visual image. I want to invoke the visual of the table. I
Mm,
want to invoke the visual of the table with the 4 legs. For
mhm.
people who are watching and listening to this, my cohort, Dr. Brook, is women in the second half of life. And let me tell you, the body it changes and it's hard. And there's stuff with sex, and there's stuff with weight gain, and there's stuff with
Right.
muscle loss, and there's stuff with memory, and everything happens. I just want to invoke this table with these 4 legs that you can set every day and sit down on whichever side of the table you want, a different side every time. I love this so much. Thank you for that visual, for understanding the pillars, especially for women who just really think they can never do it. You
Yeah.
gain weight, your body changes, and
Right.
pretty soon, you're 65 and you're like you have this stomach that you never had before.
Right.
So it's okay. There's certain
Yep.
things that you can do, and just finding a mindset where you can be self-loving and comfortable in your own skin is vital to this process.
Absolutely. Oh, Susan, I love this conversation. We're like, oh, it's so great. I want to, in closing, just allow you an opportunity for the audience to connect with you more. How can they, reach out to you? How can they, if there are women that are watching in that second half of their life or approaching that, and really looking to regain a sense of who they are and find their new identity, because women, we are powerful. And for all those men watching, you guys know this, women are powerful. And, we have a sense of different energy that we bring into the world, and the gifts and the amazing abilities to do so many incredible things. But, I really want my audience to be able to connect with you in such a deeper way, Susan. So please share.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I help women create legacy. My website is whatwillyourlegacybe.com.
Love it.
You can't create legacy until you feel calmly confident about your life. You can find me in the KS Media Group app. You can go to any place you download apps, download KS Media Group, enter your email, and look for me under directories. I'm one of the influencers in the app, as is Dr. Brook. And that's where you can find me. You can connect with me. And if you're listening to this and this speaks to you, please contact me so I can work with you. I want to. Thank you, Dr.
Yes. And I will put the links to the KS Media Group app in the show notes, as well as in the YouTube description. So it's easy for you to just go ahead and click, whether you have an Android or an Apple. You can click whatever one works for you. Connect with Susan. She is an incredible being. I'm in the app as well. So stay connected to us. And thank you all. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Hope you really learned something about the innate wisdom that our body holds and how you have the power to really influence what that looks like as well. So stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Dr. Brook.
Thanks for tuning in to the Body Talks podcast with me, Dr. Brook Sheehan, where you're learning to pay close attention to the whispers your body is speaking so you can live a life fully expressed physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally without spending time and money on healthy items that aren't right for you. You're uniquely made, and your healthcare needs should reflect that. To learn more or how you can work with me, visit drbrooksheehan.com. That's Brook without an E, and discover your answers today.